Welcome to Lesson 4, problem number 1, where we will be solving absolute value equations. Just to remind you, the absolute value symbol looks like two straight lines, and then inside the two lines is a quantity. In this case, I put the number 5, so it's read the absolute value of 5. And since the absolute value means the distance to 0, the absolute value of 5 is simply 5, because 5 is 5 from 0. How about the absolute value of negative 5? That's also 5 because it's also a distance of 5 to 0. So the absolute value simply means we're going to take the positive version of whatever the simplified quantity is in the absolute value symbol. The reason I'm emphasizing that is I want to make sure that you recognize why I'm setting up two equations. So if the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 4, what that really means is x minus 5, that quantity, x minus 5, can be equal to 4. But it's also true that the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 4 implies that the value of x minus 5 can be equal to a negative 4. Because if the quantity inside that absolute value is equal to a negative 4, when we take the absolute value, we're still going to get 4 and get an equation that is true. So real quickly, we're going to now solve both of these equations. I'm going to roll through this because I know you're getting good with that based on being lesson 4. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So now we have x equals 1, x equals 9. And I'm not going to take the time during the video, but I do want to just emphasize that if you were to put either the value of 9 in for x into the original equation or the value of 1 into x in the original equation and simplified, both of them would give you an equation that's true. So both 9 and 1 are answers to our absolute value equation. Okay, let's go to B. The first thing I'm going to do is to try and get the absolute value quantity by itself. A really key point and a really common error is you cannot distribute that negative 8 through the absolute value because at times that will result in an answer that does not work. So you don't want to distribute. This is a big no. So what you want to do instead is you want to eliminate the portion, or in this case, the number that is outside the absolute value. And the way we do that is to divide both sides by negative 8. So now on the left, we have 1/2 equals simply the absolute value of x minus 9. Once we get the absolute value quantity isolated, what we're going to do now is all we have to do really is to say x minus 9 equals 1/2, x minus 9 equals negative 1/2. Simply add 9 to both sides. And over here, we're going to get x equals 9.5 or 9.5 if you prefer. Here, when we add 9 to both sides, we're going to get x is equal to 8.5. And I'm using a decimal, but you could certainly use 8.5 instead of 8.5, which is 8 5/10 and 9 5/10. Okay, let's go to C. And for C, I'm going to start by, again, isolating that absolute value. So I'm going to start by subtracting 1 from both sides. When I do that, I get a nice absolute value being multiplied by 99. So 99 times the absolute value of 5x minus 3 is equal to 99. We're going to divide both sides by 99. And just like that, we get the absolute value of 5x minus 3, because this cancels, equals 1. Okay, now that's still in the absolute value. So now I have my two equations. So my first one is going to be 5x minus 3 equals 1. And the other equation is going to be 5x minus 3 equals negative 1. Once again, we're going to get two answers with our two equations. We're going to add 3 to both sides. And we're going to get simply over here 5x equals 4. I'm just going to write it right here. So 5x equals 4. And we're divide both sides by 5, and x equals 4/5. That's one of our two answers, 4/5. Here we're going to add 3 to both sides. We're going to get 5x equals 2. Divide both sides by 5, and x is equal to 2/5. So our two answers for C are 4/5 and 2/5. Okay, let's go to our last one right here. I'm going to change the color just so it'll be a little bit more clear which answer belongs to which problem. So for D, I'm going to use this darker color. We're going to start by subtracting 3 from both sides. When we do that, we get 1/5 times the absolute value of x minus 7 equals 5. Now remember, with fractions, we like to get rid of them by multiplying the entire equation through by the common denominator, which in this case would be 5. I'm going to once again change our color scheme here. Let's make it a kind of a green just to kind of show you what we're multiplying through by, which is 5. Just to make sure that will make this 5 cancel. So we have the absolute value of x minus 7 equals, and then this 5 distributes, so we get a 25. So now our two equations are x minus 7 equals 25, x minus 7 equals negative 25. All right, we're going to add 7 to both sides. I'm going to do this next step without showing that work of adding 7 to both sides because we've been kind of working on this for a while. When we add 7 to both sides here, we get 32 here and negative 18. Both negative 18 and 32 are valid answers for this particular inequality. Great job. See you next time. Bye.